Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Happy 7-Eleven. I am freshly back from my walk, back to cook dinner. It's real quiet around here. Friday night meetings, if you know, you know. I've been dealing with quiet Fridays for a long time now, so I decided to get the jump on this one and go ahead and make this video while I still have some peace. I wanted to do a video. I did a short one yesterday and I wanted to add to it, and I was like, it just doesn't look right, so I'm just going to start over with what I want to put in today and some things from yesterday's video, which was really short anyway. But I saw a video today that made me think about, well, I've been thinking about for a while, enlightenment, and even some people that I've learned from. I still cherry pick, okay? I cherry pick from the Bible. I cherry pick from spirituality. I'll cherry pick from, other religions. I'll cherry pick from experiences. I don't ever follow anything to a T unless it's been repeated in my life so many times that it's undeniable and I cannot turn my back on it because I've seen it. I know it to be true. I've lived it time and time again. There's just nothing in the entire world, even if I start calling it something else, you know what I mean? I would never be able to deny that that thing exists or it's true just as it is at face value. So I've been thinking about some of the things that I've seen on other videos that have really, really helped me out. And I've pointed out with Taylor Welch in the deep end about his, walking the fence. I thought about something the other day. He'll quote scripture endlessly, but he also talks about other realms. He also talks about how the veil is lifted with psychedelics, like in the same conversation. And I'm like, oh my God, it really is. It really is lifted with psychedelics. If you've ever gone there, you know. But it's just, I'm like, what? Like, he's all over the place. So I will point things like that out because there's so much truth to what he's saying, but then at the same time, he'll go and berate something or contradict or throw out zingers and be a bully and take away just crap on the whole load. So I want you guys to be able to have the discernment to pick it apart. And I like to give you examples for that by what I've been through and just some other things that I've seen lately or in my life. And discernment is big for me. And I will never project on anybody and say, you don't know discernment, because discernment is different for everyone. We all come about sharpening our discernment in different ways. It's not always the same for everybody, just like your path is not the same as anybody else's. No one is the same as you. We all have our own essence. We all have our own journey, our own purposes, like our own missions. Like nothing is the same. So I don't want to ever make anyone feel like you need to do this or you need to do that. If you know something to be true and your discernment, however you came about sharpening it, tells you that this is my intuition is telling me through discernment that this is what it is, whatever that may be for you. Trust it. Go with your gut. Even if I'm saying something is red and I'm holding up a red rose, if your intuition is saying that's pink, go with your intuition. Go with your gut. Trust it for what you know it to be, because it is your journey. Something is telling you that, specifically you, for a reason. So always trust it. It could be, me, the next person, anybody could be telling you something is red and they're using a dye. You've seen how people can, just for example, not that I've ever done this, but you can dye flowers any color you want by cutting off the stem and letting it soak in food coloring. So there's tricks to everything, and there's going to be people coming out of left field trying to trick you all the time. And until your discernment is sharpened, or until you've been through certain situations a certain number of times, people might get things over on you. They take advantage of people everywhere. There's scammers, there's manipulators, there's players, like every corner you turn, there's someone trying to pull the wool over your eyes because they don't want to do the work. And they don't want anyone to pull their mask off because they're getting something out of that game. There's a payoff. There's a quick come up. They've made a deal with the devil for whatever reason that they're manipulating and trying to get over on people. They're doing it because they're getting something out of it. And you are their next source of income, source of whatever that they're trying to get via that manipulation or that mask that they're wearing. So, I try to put you up on game as much as I can. I try to use what I've gone through as examples for you as much as I can. And the things that I experience in my day-to-day life that I have discerned for not, I'll cherry pick something, not take this at face value, or, try to encourage you to take your experiences and your intuition and your own discernment for what it is, because it's for a reason. There's no mistakes. There's no coincidences. Like, everything is tailor-made for you and your experience. You have co-created that with your higher self, with Source. So don't deny it. Specifically, I was thinking about a video that I saw today from someone who I respect greatly. So no digs on this person. It just gave me a good example of something that I have been wanting to speak of for a long time now. And not specifically, but I'll go into it. It brought up another thing that I wanted to talk about in addition to something that I was thinking about already. But this person was crossing out all of these things that you should not talk about, should not believe in, should not go with, as far as like that's something, a talking point or something that you should live your life by. They were using an example of the 144,000, which I don't take for face value in the Bible. First of all, they're the chosen ones that are marked. They, if you don't read the Bible, it's in Revelation if you want to go read it, but they are going to be like supposedly the first taken in the rapture. But I don't believe that the second coming of Christ. I don't believe in the rapture as it is written in the Bible. So a lot of things are said about 144,000 that it does exist, but it's a frequency, which I do resonate with. If I put 144,000, it is the frequency that you need to reach in order to be able to access your Christ consciousness. That is the 144,000 to me. I don't consider, when I say chosen, that I would be one of the 144,000. I believe that you have to raise your vibration to emit that frequency in order to go within and access the Christ consciousness, which I very much believe. And you can believe what you want to believe. This is my channel, my beliefs. I believe that that is the second coming of Christ, is you shedding all of these belief systems that you have been conditioned and programmed to think in this matrix, whatever, of a world, whatever you want to call it, this construct, before you ascend out of the 3D, before you use any kind of modality in the 4D to get you to accessing the Christ consciousness, the oneness, the I am in the 5D. So, in order, you call it whatever you want, and there's a lot of tossing around about labels, and I do believe you should shed the labels, because if you ever do need to detach from something, like me being a mother and missing my children and loving them so much that it could kill me if I held on to it forever, and having someone or many people use those things as a weapon to hurt me because that's all they have. Like, it's not even about the kids. Not even about the kids at all. It's the only thing that they could use to hurt me, because I won't go back. I won't let anyone control me. I'm not going to conform. I'm not going to join the Masons, the Eastern Stars. I'm not going to make cakes for them. One of the creepiest dinners I've ever had was with my great uncles and my immediate family, which is small, before I had cut them off. So creepy. I was like, the vibe is way off here. And that was before that I knew that they were involved in this Freemasonry stuff. And then looking back, I even, I had signed papers for my uncle saying that I would take care of his estate. And in that, it was talking about paying up any remaining dues, memberships for these organizations without naming the organizations. Like, there's all kinds of things that have been connected after the fact, after I got thrown deep into that pool in the dark, and God made me start figuring all of this out on my own, because it was time. It was time for me to be thrusted out of that and separate myself from it, because first of all, they can't go with me, and God is very much preparing a table in front of my enemies, and I don't want to take anyone that doesn't deserve to go with me. And just like in Genesis, for Lot's wife, don't look back and turn into a pillar of salt. So he's going to reveal everything. He's going to get you up out of there however he needs to get you back on course, on your path, in your purpose, so that you're hitting your checkpoints, you're listening to your intuition, you're connecting to your higher self, so that you get where you were always meant to go. So looking back, things like that are going to start connecting for you. I also, with touching my face, sometimes I just itch, but I've seen people online pointing out micro gestures and how they think that that's an indicator for lying. And I looked into that because I was like, I touch my face all the time. Are people thinking that about me? And I don't care what you think about me, but I am big on body language. And sometimes my face just itches, but I was looking on a assessment for Todd Chrisley when he got out of jail, and how people were pointing out that him touching his face during the interview was somehow an indicator of him lying. And this expert was breaking it down in the video I was watching, and it's a big indicator for when stress is building up. If you touch your face or somewhere, it will relieve the stress that has built up. So I think more often than not, when I see myself doing that, it has been when I'm talking about something that I'm trying not to cry about, or something that has very much stressed me out in the past, and I'm trying to work through it as far as not, break down. I'm not letting it control me. I have done that a lot. I did it a lot in the video where I was talking about my son's elementary promotion and not going to that and trying my best not to cry. I did it a lot, and I was like, that explains like what I was doing there, because my face does itch, but the pressure building up, it helps you to relieve it in the moment. So I think people should study it a little bit more, or observe and research and just study that before you're like, oh, micro gesture, because there can be several different meanings, and somebody can just be itching. You could just be scratching something. So also discernment, come about that on your own, all on your own. What might be discernment as far as micro gestures or body language for someone might be totally different from someone else. You have to watch their baseline. You have to know how their behavior is on a consistent basis, and when they deviate from that, what does that mean when they're doing that specific person, and the specific moments that they deviate from it. It will tell you everything, and people will tell you everything. They will tell you, put their foot in their mouth over and over and over, because they can't keep it in, and it bubbles over. So if you pay attention and stay quiet long enough, people will tell you everything you need to know. I promise you. Just be patient. So anyway, back to where I was. So the video that I was watching talking about not feeding into this, not feeding into empaths, not feeding into narcissists. I believe that you should do away with the labels, because if you identify with something, then it holds power over you, and you need to pull your power back from that. Just like children being weaponized by narcissists because it's not about the child. It's about how they want control over you, and you won't come back to them. You won't get back into that old toxic cycle with them. You have completely lifted the veil on their game and you're tired of playing it, whatever it may be. So they have to grasp at straws to get something on you. And if you're not doing anything wrong, they either have to lie and create something, or they have to use whatever they can, even if that means weaponizing children, because lots of narcissists do that. They don't really care about the subject matter. They will use it if they think that it will control you or hurt you or get you to regress in any way for whatever reason, because just like trying to go out and get ahead of all their flying monkeys and their slander and their witch hunt, their smear campaign, they have already thought about this plan on what they were going to go out and tell everyone as the narrative, as the agenda that they wanted to push long before you ever broke up. So you can give that up right away. Don't even feed into the, oh, I need to get out there and tell my story. You keep your head down, you work hard, you be authentic. You don't have to wear a mask, and that will eventually seep through your pores and become evident to anybody, whether you care about what they think, and you better not, or not. So just be you, consistently you, because consistency is a huge, huge thing. You cannot keep up a facade that is not you forever. Your mask will slip off, even if being around someone that is high vibrational exposes their demons. It makes their mask fall off. They will start to hate those people because it breaks down what they've worked so hard to build up and play the victim, or forced politeness, or the generosity, whatever it is that they try and paint themselves as. They can't hold it up forever. It's exhausting. It's heavy to them because it's not who they really are. It's not their essence. It's not. It will eventually seep through. So don't try to get ahead of things. I know that I have gone out and I have told my story in a lot of previous videos before court because I had to get it off my chest. I wanted to tell things before the story got too twisted, and that was something that I probably shouldn't have done, but I feel better because of it, because it had to be said, and I will always speak my truth, and I encourage all of you to do the same. But before I get too far off, narcissists, empaths, matrix, what was something else that was mentioned? Being chosen. I believe that everyone is chosen, but many are called, few are chosen. So you could be called, you can have an anointing over your life. It's part of your purpose. But unless you answer the call and unless you do the work to rise up to meet that calling, you might not be chosen. So in that, I respect this person very much, and a lot of things in their videos have taught me a great deal, and I am forever grateful for that. Do not let anyone tell you that your experience or what you've gone through or what you know to be a fact. Like, no going back on it, because for one, I lived it over and over and over. Two, you can call it whatever you want. Whether you use a label or you don't use a label, it was still an experience that you had, and it's undeniable that you went through that. It's part of your story. You cannot unknow it. It's something that helped you along your path to learn and to grow and to not be fooled by it again. Like, for whatever reason you went through it, it was for a purpose. And you need to take away something from that. You don't have to call it good. You don't have to call it bad. You don't have to call it a narcissist, empath dynamic. You don't have to call the construct a matrix. You don't have to call it a construct. You don't have to call it anything. But it is an undeniable part of your existence. So to let someone talk you out of something that you know very much to be true, that it is part of your being, it is part of your story, it is a very, very important lesson that others may learn from by you sharing that experience, hopefully before they have to go through it. And if not, maybe somewhere during or after where they can use that experience to help alleviate their suffering, to get out of that toxic cycle, to not repeat it, to wake up with the least amount of pain, trauma, and suffering as possible. That is my goal with this because I stayed in cycles way too long. I repeated cycles that I wish I hadn't, but I had to. I had to because I didn't get it. So through experience, I had to repeat it, and I did learn it this time. So I want to help others as much as I can, and hopefully they can put some of this experience to use. But just like I cherry pick, I do it with the people that I learn from. I do it with the Bible. I do it with just every experience that I have during the day, whether it's signs, synchronicities, downloads, feelings, thoughts. Like, I'm not going to take everything at face value. I'm going to take what's important from that and put it to use in my life the way that I feel intuitively that it needs to be used. So the thing that I was going to talk about, that video brought up another talking point, but I was going to talk about, I don't care how enlightened you get. I don't care if you're a Buddha, you're a yogi, you're a priest, you're a pastor, with the best intentions. I don't believe in organized religion at all, but I'm not trying to diss anyone in giving this message. I am trying to say, no matter what level of enlightenment you get, whatever status that you have achieved, even if you don't apply a label to it, you're still having a human experience. At the end of the day, you are still having a human experience. And I find that when I listen to what I learned from, and I would call a very enlightened being, they have shed the conditioning. They are seeing things for the way it really is, as far as what resonates with me and what helps me go further with the knowledge that they have that maybe I haven't had the experience of learning yet. Sometimes they lose their personality. And I'm not talking about this person that I saw in this video today at all. I'm talking about, in general, enlightened individuals that I have learned from. Sometimes they become like droids. Like, they're void of any personality. And they'll talk down to people sometimes in a way that's like, stop doing this. Don't do that. Like, why are you wasting your time on this? Don't call it, this. Don't call it that. Don't call it anything. Still, if you're human, and if you feel a calling on your life to teach other people and not let the things that you've gone through be in vain, and you share your experiences and you tell your story, you're going to have to call it something, or they're not going to understand what you're talking about. So for me to call it a narcissist, for me to call it the Matrix, for me to call anything, I'm going to have a point of reference with which that person can pick up what I'm putting down. So whether you want to shed labels or not, you're going to have to use some kind of vocabulary that people understand, that they can grasp what you're saying and put it into work, like put it into action in their life to learn from. You're going to have to explain it in some way. I would love to be telepathic with everyone out there, but we're just not all there yet. Hopefully we will someday. But right now, we're not. So if I'm making YouTube videos, I'm going to have to use words to where people understand how to jump those hurdles easier, how to get out of those karmic cycles faster, how to not repeat it, how to learn from me. It's going to have to be called something in the moment, even if you don't call it that ever again. So that's my point. But when I hear them talking about that, it's very monotone, very flat affect, very like, I know that you weren't always like that. I know that you weren't born like that. And even if you shed all of the conditioning of this world that you were raised in, whatever ingredients were put into your soup by the people that raised you and the people that you learned from, however you learned it, even the media, your school, your church, your parents, whatever. All of the ingredients that got put in that may have been self-serving for someone else, that may have been an agenda, that may have been manipulative, abusive, that may have just been misguidance, whatever you want to call it. I know that you did not come to the point that you are now as an enlightened soul on this earthly plane to be no personality. I know that you had one. I know that you were funny. I know that you told jokes. I know that, maybe you were a stick in the mud, but I know that you had some kind of personality. I know that you related to others before what you are now with some kind of charisma, with some kind of personality, with some kind of individuality, something. And I know that it could still be there. Why is it gone? Because you are enlightened. I don't understand. And maybe it's because I don't understand, because I love to be funny. I love to code switch. I love to be charismatic. I love to be charming when it's the right time. I find charm to be manipulative. So that's why I say the right time, because I cannot stand when people try to be charming to wear a mask. That is nauseating to me. I've seen it so many times, but I love to have a bubbly, effervescent personality. I feel like I'm very fun to be around, and that's what helps let people's guard down so that they can learn from me, because I'm not ever acting like I'm void of anything. Like, I am me. This is me. This is my authentic self. I don't have to wear a mask, and because I don't wear a mask, it helps others learn from me better, faster. I don't have to go through this maze in order to reach them, because they're like, hey, I can relate to her. She has met me where I am. We have related to each other on this, that, or the other, or she just makes me laugh in a time where I was sad, or I was, I felt like giving up or whatever, or just I was bored, and her facial expressions were like sending me, which I've heard many times about myself. Like, I feel like I have this quality about me that where people let their guard down, and I don't abuse that. I don't use that for a self-serving agenda. I use that in order to meet them where they are and to find out what it is that they need that I could possibly help them with, even if it's just saying hello or have a nice day, like something as simple as that. And I find that I have to wade through the weeds when I'm learning from people that talk like this, or that are telling you don't do that, or are making a list of things where they're saying, don't call it this, don't call it that, because it's not that. It might not be that. But in order to learn, you need to have some kind of personality. You need to have some kind of a way where people can relate to you. And you need to have a vocabulary that you can use that they have heard before. I don't know. I've been wanting to speak about that without being like so critical to where it comes off as an insult, because it's not. I have lots of things that I need to learn from him, and I am still, even almost 2 years in, 2 years in October, into this YouTube thing. I still don't like to look at myself in the camera. I still cringe at a lot of my videos, but I still put them out. I still push myself to do this because I feel like I have helped people. I know that I have helped me in some ways by getting it out. So don't let anybody tell you. I'm going to go back to that as many times as I can and use, I'm going to leave the personality thing alone, because I feel like I've beat that enough, and I don't want people to misconstrue it in a way that disregards the help that I've gotten from them, or to make them stop, not that it would, or, to criticize them heavily. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I don't ever I'm on this enlightenment path. I am ascending, but I don't want to lose my personality and my authenticity and my sense of humor in that, to where people can't relate to me anymore. That is part of my purpose is for people to relate to me so that I can help them in whatever way that they need, whether it's this video or something that I haven't talked about, or a new subject that something somebody's been through that I have not even thought about yet. I want to help people however I can, wherever I am, no matter what I'm doing. So whether it's YouTube or in person or over the phone or whatever, however I come to cross someone's path, I want to be able to help them. And I don't want to lose my personality and who I am and what makes me me, like in the process of enlightenment, if that makes sense. I hope it does. That's all. That's the only way I know how to say it. But we'll get back to the discernment and your experiences with things, and how don't let anybody tell you that your experiences aren't real. Like, say if I've had a friend in the past that was I don't think he said atheist. I think he said agnostic, because this was really the first time that I talked to someone who said they were agnostic. But they kept trying to challenge me, and I was like, I'm not trying to change the way that you believe. So I don't know why you're trying to challenge me, because the things that I have gone through in my life have shown me that there is a higher power, no matter what anyone chooses to call it. No matter what anybody chooses to call it. My face is itching. But I'm never going to negate. You're never going to be able to talk me out of how there in my life, I call it God, how there's a God, how there is a power source, how the things that have been done in my life are credited to that in very crucial moments in my life where I had nothing. And that was before I ever went through all of the stuff that I've gone through recently. Just other things in my life before then. This was probably about 5 years ago, somewhere, when I was having this conversation with that person. And I had gone through my last divorce, but even before that, I was like, look, miraculous things have happened in my life when no one else would help me, to where I know without a shadow of a doubt that it was God, or whatever you want to call that. So you're wasting your time. And that's the way I feel, like people trying to turn you against something that you have experience with, that you have blood, sweat, and tears going through, or you're going to stand on it. You are going to die on that hill, because nothing can turn you back from what you know. You can't ever say that experience was in vain, that you didn't learn something from it, whatever it may be. It's stuck with you. It's there. It's part of who you are. Whether you ever talk about it or not, if someone says, this is not a thing, you're going to be like, au contraire, mon frere, because for years of my life, repeatedly, it was a thing. So speak for yourself. But I know for a fact, don't let anybody talk you out of that stuff. And if you're feeling it, if your intuition is telling you, no matter if, 99% of the time, or even 100% of the time, you've never heard of it being the answer that you are being given with your intuition, it could still be the answer for you, and your intuition is not wrong. So don't let anybody sway you. If you're discerning it, if your intuition is telling you, go with that, no matter what anyone else says. Me, anybody. Like, I'm not saying, oh, listen to me. Because I don't know your path. I don't know your life. All I know is mine and other things that I've seen and the things that I've been through. That's all I can share with you. I can pray for you. I can send you love and light. I can't do it for you. Only you can do it for you. And only you, connecting to your higher self, will know what is for you and what is not for you. So listen to that. It trumps everything. Trumps everything. Hands down, every time, no matter what anyone else says or does. Your intuition and your discernment for you are never wrong, specifically for you, ever. That I stand on, and that I hope you do listen to. Because if you start to lean on it and trust it, you'll see the success rate. I'm here to tell you, because I would not be where I am now if I hadn't solely relied, being thrown into the deep end of that dark pool. I never would be where I am now if I hadn't just trusted my intuition, if I hadn't just given myself permission to wake up and let that old construct fall away and surrender to the flow that is my life that was planned just for me, between me and the Creator, which it's inside of all of us. It is all of us. So that's why God sees and hears everything, because He is you. Of course, He's you. You can't lie to Him. You can't lie to Him. So it's always gonna know. There's no denying that. So you can try to fool other people with your mask for as long as you can keep that mask on. But what was done in the dark is always brought to light, because Source is going to bring it to light through other people. He's working through them too, because He is them too. But I was trying to think of other examples that I could give you. Ones, people that have been sent to me through this time of my life, who have told me different names. They've tried to give me aliases, and my discernment was like, mm-mm. So I background checked them, and I found out their real name. And people that have tried to tell me that they weren't married and get me into a relationship, I found out they were married. Like, if something is telling you this is not right, like, it's not right. I remember I had a cousin that lived in a duplex, and these people had, his next door neighbors on the other side of the duplex tried to make friends with him, and were so chatty and so friendly. And then they waited until he left one night, and he might have gone out of town. I don't remember, but they had attic spaces on each side. And just because there were walls between their duplexes, the attics were not separated. So his neighbor went up into their attic and went through the crawl space to his attic space, and then went down into his apartment and robbed him. And then, like a lot of thieves will steal something from you and then help you look for it. So that's a good telling sign if someone is right up front, being very, very almost too helpful. They might be a suspect. So you might want to just be quiet and let them talk, because eventually they'll tell on themselves. And that's how he found out that they were the robbers. So I know that in situations that I've been in recently, I have thought about long and hard about the propensity for things to have occurred in someone's bloodline, and how even if it was reoccurring, that no one ever deserved for them to have endured that in the first place, for it to ever be handed down in that bloodline. And I thought long and hard about, where did this originate, or where did it originate in the bloodline that I'm aware of, that I have known, I've been exposed to. And I had a dream, which my dreams never steer me wrong. And I confronted the person that had endured, one of the people that had endured the abuse in the bloodline, and in front of their parent, that I knew where it originated in the bloodline that I had been exposed to. And the reason that I knew it confirmed it in my physical, what had occurred in the dream, was that, like when murderers return to the scene of the crime, you've seen documentaries where they'll find, a lot of times there'll be police or detectives that search the crowd for the suspect, because they will come back and they will try to be front and center for the crime that they committed, for the murder that they carried out, or whatever, the robbery, whatever it is that happened. They'll try to come back and watch. And that's how it was confirmed to me in my physical life, because in what I went through, where there was abuse in a bloodline, this person that was in my dream was confirmed in the physical, because they were front and center for the whole thing. And I was like, there it is. There it is. And it's not someone that you would ever, 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 ever imagine. Like, they wore that mask good. They wore that mask very good. So endearing, so charming. That's the one reason why I don't like that. This person is very, very charming, and their hands are extremely dirty, and no one would ever guess. But I know. And in my dream, I had told the people affected by it that I previously would have done anything for, that I knew, and they didn't have very much to say, and no denial was had. That was another thing in my dealings with my uncle, and thinking certain things about my family that weren't always what I had been told. Every time that I had confronted or confided to my uncle about any of these things, he was like a deer in headlights. There was no denial. There was no questioning, are you sure? How are you coming about this? What? It was either a deer in headlights, or it was a dumbfounded, like, what? Like, it was an overly stupid, like, just, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna be like, blah, 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 stammer. I'm gonna, like, completely lose my faculties because I don't know what to do. Like, things like that. Like, you'll know. Your intuition will speak to you. It will scream sometimes. Do not ever let anyone talk you into turning your back on your discernment and your intuition, because the ways that it is being sharpened are divine. They're divinely orchestrated just for you, and just when you are right where you're supposed to be, right when you were supposed to be there. So anything that has happened to you has not been a mistake. It is not a coincidence. If it happened for a reason. If it was sharpening your discernment, if it was something that you had to go through that was very painful, it was done for a reason, because you were being prepared. You were being brought to a place. You were being brought up. You were leveling up with that. Whether it was good or bad, whether you don't want to call it anything, which I try not to call it anything. It was just something that had to happen. It was part of that day. It was part of my life. It was part of my path. It was something that made me need to course correct me and realign me with my path. Like, it was something that was done specifically for you for a reason. Don't let anybody, no matter how much you respect, admire, or how many times that they have been spot on, don't ever let anybody talk you into turning your back on your intuition or discernment. It is your superpower. Always. It is your superpower. Like, it is custom made for you. So no matter what anyone has gone through in their life that may contradict that, or be an example to where that didn't work for them, it doesn't mean squat in your life. So I can share with you my intuition and my discernment. I can share with you my experiences, but always know that your higher self is leading you in your own specific ways. It's fine-tuned for your experience. So where you can learn from me, where you can learn from others have brought me up many times, and I'm so grateful and so thankful that I was that student and they were the teacher. Hopefully somebody is grateful for me, but if not, still always know that what is innate for you is never going to let you down. And other people on this plane, other souls are going to let you down. Like, it's not always going to be the way that they know it to be for you, and it's not always going to be something that they did on purpose. I don't believe that the video that I saw today was someone trying to put me down or tell me that what I'm doing is wrong in a hurtful way. Like, I know what I know, and no one can take that from me ever, because I lived it. So respectfully, I decline to cherry pick and not cherry pick some things from what I hear from everybody, from everything. So that's what I wanted to say today. Don't ever turn your back on it. It is yours. It is a gift. It is a superpower, and it was bestowed upon you in whatever way that you came about sharpening it, or it being pronounced in your life, it being sharpened. Iron sharpens iron. The thing that I was talking about yesterday was dreaming about the saying, the realize, realize, realize. And then I heard a video of it, of somebody saying that on the same day. And I was like, this is like the theme for the day. So I felt like speaking on it. And basically, I was saying, real recognizes real. And what I already said about narcissists and smear campaigns, that you don't need to go out and try and get in front of everything. Just be your authentic self, because they'll tell on themselves every time. And a lot of times, you shining your light around them and exposing them for who they really are, while they've tried to tell everybody, they've tried to project all of the negative things about themselves that people don't know, that they've kept under wraps and under that mask. They've tried to project it onto you or whoever they're trying to slander. So just you being yourself exposes them, because, like I said, authenticity seeps from your pores. It's your very essence. No one can take that from you. And God knows it best, because He created it. He is it. So He will eventually bring it to light for whoever needs to see it whenever they need to see it. So you don't need to wear yourself out trying. It will be self-evident. It will be on Front Street without you having to put it on Front Street. But never stop telling your story. Just because you don't react to them or associate to them or have anything to do with them at all. Cut them off. Cut them off and start moving in the opposite direction for you. And for others that you are meant to align with, that do deserve a chance, because they haven't done you that way, and they've been through similar things more than likely, and they've done a lot of work on themselves to where they're going to know your worth, know their worth, treat you how you deserve to be treated. But yeah, don't don't ever try and waste your precious currency trying to get in front of it. They're going to hate on you because you are you, for no other reason than you are you. They don't want to have to do the work, and they don't want to be exposed. So just you being yourself. It reminds me of this picture. Speaking of a deer in headlights, I had a picture made with my cousins a long time ago, like a portrait in a studio. And my aunt, who despises me, she we were looking at the proofs, because you got to look at the proofs. This was way back when. You got to look at the proofs like right after you got the pictures made. And I think everybody else left, and we're the only two girls in the family at that time. Well, my grandmother, but we were getting these pictures made like for my grandmother. So she wasn't there. So we were looking through the proofs, and this picture of just me and my cousins, which I had so much love for them growing up, but I was the only girl in the group of cousins, and I was in the middle. And I thought the picture was great of all of us. They had like maybe 4 different ones, and there was just one picture of all of the proofs where I guess we were like in the pose for too long, and I got tired of smiling, and I was like, like, come on, hurry up. Is this over yet? Like, I had grown tired of the pose and the picture that we were taking. But all of the other ones, I had this like magnificent smile, and I never thought I looked so good in any picture. I don't think I'm very photogenic at all. I think I'm an attractive person, if I do say so myself, because I love myself, but I think I look better in person than I do on these videos, which is why a video or a picture, this is why I've never gotten comfortable on camera, but pushing through. But I thought that picture, because of my smile, my hair looked good that day. I had never seen a picture of me look so good before that moment ever in my whole life. And I was like, at least mid-20s. And because of who I was in the picture with, and the love that I had for all of those guys that were around me. I thought that was great. But guess which picture my aunt chose to frame and put up in her house for everybody to see? The one where I was like, because she doesn't like my light, because I looked too good in that picture. And anybody that's ever been to her house can never tell you any different because they've seen it and they know what I'm talking about. Just know that every picture other than the one that she chose to buy and frame and put up in her house of me looked amazing, if I do say so myself. And I've really never said that about myself in any other picture other than that one. But yeah, if I had any of my belongings, I would pull it out and show you guys what the great picture looked like. And if you know her, you know which one she chose, and you know why, because they don't like your light. They're putting on a mask for everyone else, making them think that they are sweet as pie, that they're generous and they're loving, when in fact, they can't hold up that facade forever. And a lot of masks are falling right now. And that's a lot of reason why I feel the aggression in the air that I do, because this has gone on for way too long and you can't wear that mask forever. Eventually the facade, the mask, it will fall, and won't have to do anything. I won't have to lift a finger. Everything that I have done up to this point was because of my children. And eventually I chose myself, and truth be told, I should have chose myself and stopped being a doormat and running to everyone's rescue and pouring into them until I had an empty cup and nobody was pouring into mine. I should have done that long time ago. And if you don't learn anything from me, let it be that. Because I'm tired of the energy vampires, and I feel so much better that I'm pouring into myself, and I want you all to do the same. Even if you have lots of children, still pour into yourself first, because they're only as good as you are to yourself. So I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll see you later. Bye.